Yo guys, how's it going? This is the Sugi and this is my review out of Dark Souls 3 for PC. And this is a game that has pretty much a cult following, and that really comes down to the game being pretty hardcore title. It's not a very easy game by all means. There's a lot of difficulty in it, and offers a lot of challenges and a lot of playtime hours, whatever you do, PvP or PvE. But I want to start this review by comparing the Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 3 because that's kind of like best way to compare the titles. And if I would like to go describe the game, I would say it's kind of like a baby between Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2. Because the game is a lot fast paced compared to Dark Souls 2. The attack animations and movement and stamina are much more faster than in Dark Souls 2. And there are some like key gameplay differences. I think a lot of things have been made convenient compared from the second to the third game, such as you didn't have except one shopkeeper in Dark Souls 2, which you needed to find to sell your items. In Dark Souls 3 you have multiple vendors that you can sell your items to get souls. That is one of those convenient changes to the game. One of the other very convenient stuff is actually redoing the whole magic system and sorcery. So instead of like having charges on each of the abilities, you have FP, which is aka the mana essentially. And you have Easter shards once again, but you also have Easter shards for the mana. And overall you can get like 15 flasks, and you can like put 7 to FP flasks and 8 to health flasks, and or 15 to the health flasks and 0 to the mana flasks. You know, there's a lot of customization when it comes to that. Also, I have to praise that the character creation have come a long way. I think the Dark Souls 2 one was kind of lacking. This one has more depth to it, and I gotta say I really enjoy that. There's also a lot of support for multiple playstyles and weapons. I seem the great swords, two-handed kind of weapon styles are a bit more favored in Dark Souls 3. That's just my initial thoughts really. But going on at the other stuff, so I would say like as my conclusion between the two comparisons, Dark Souls 3 is faster, better graphics, story level is about the same. I just think it's really I like Dark Souls 3 more because it was fast paced and it was more to my liking, and it had also like the multiplayer aspects were a lot more improved in Dark Souls 3. And then Dark Souls 3 is a lot more linear game compared to Dark Souls 2. And I guess there's a lot of side bosses still in the game and all that, but essentially, you know, it's linear. It makes more sense. You know where to actually go to, what makes sense to go to next, like, so you don't go to a zone where you're getting outclassed. And in terms of like playtime hours, you can get a lot squeezed out. So my game lasted around 40 hours to complete the game. This was my second character because sadly I lost all my saves to the game, which was kind of crucial because I formatted my PC and Steam stuff went with it. I was kind of fortunate, but once you play the game second time, you'll have much more an idea where you put your stats into. I think you kind of require to play the game 2 times in order to, I mean at least 1 time, to understand how the game works and what is wise and what is not wise. There are a lot of like side quests in the game which I really suggest like looking up from Wikipedia, because there's like 3 endings to the game which you can get based on which side quests you do and all that. I won't be spoiling any of the endings, but this is my honest opinion. A lot of people are going to disagree with it, but I don't think the story aspect in this game is very big. Is lore, but it's more written based. If you don't read the item descriptions, you will have no pretty much idea what is going on in the game. Essentially the main line that you have to rekindle the flames and defeat the lords, and that is pretty much the basic storyline there. There's not a lot of like real twists unless you're talking about the side stories that happen. But essentially, it's a very enjoyable game. There's a lot of hardcore aspects to it. It's a lot more harder to play it alone compared to playing it on a team. There's also the PvP and New Game Plus. I mean, the game offers easily over 100 hours of gameplay. There's also the DLC coming up, which I also will be reviewing, so stay tuned for that. My overall score for the game, I don't do scores, but this one I'm gonna say it has the potential to be the game of the year. I'm not gonna give it 10 because for me the story wasn't a masterpiece. For me it wasn't, even though there's a lot of written lore to it, it wasn't a masterpiece to me. So I can't give it out 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 5. It's more like a 9 out of 10 type of a scoring. And it's a really good game. I would of course wait it become a bit cheaper maybe, but it's definitely worth the $60 pay cut because the hours is great. The music is okay-ish. Maybe it could have been a bit better. Yet Japanese have a lot of great sound artists, and I was kind of hoping for a bit more. I mean, there were a few really good boss battle musics, but some of them were kind of like I didn't even notice them. They were kind of like not rememberable. Overall, I don't want to repeat myself, but the game is really good. A lot of countless hours, a lot of multiplayer action, a lot of PvP action. One of the things sometimes you feel you might get stuck in certain positions, like grinding embers can be a bit of a drag, but there are a few guides how to do that efficiently. There are some of the systems that I didn't like about the game, such as when you buy items from the vendors, you're not able to compare the items while being on the shop compared to like MMOs. So I don't know if I have to like constantly open the shop again and inventory again to know which of the statistics are better on this helmet versus this helmet and all that. But great game, was worth all the hours that I put into. Right now 70 hours plus, and looking to play the DLC. I have already the season pass, and we will see how those will turn out. And great game, definitely game of the year probably. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys later on the next thing. Cheers.